Red Bull Formula One team principal Christian Horner refrained from addressing recent anonymous speculation, which circulated materials purportedly linked to a recent inquiry into him, reaching senior F1 figures and journalists. Despite being exonerated by Red Bull's parent company on Wednesday, following an external investigation into allegations of misconduct, an email titled Christian Horner Investigation Evidence was dispatched on Thursday to 150 F1 personnel. The email invited recipients to review materials related to Red Bull's recent investigation, with F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem, team representatives, and accredited media, journalists, among the recipients. Notably, no one from Red Bull or Red Bull Racing received the email, except Jos Verstappen, father of Red Bull's world champion Max. The authenticity of the materials, consisting of 79 screen grabs of digital messaging conversations allegedly from the investigation, remains unverified. In response to the leak, a statement issued on behalf of Horner asserted his refusal to comment on anonymous speculation, while reiterating his denial of the allegations. Horner emphasized his cooperation with the independent investigation, led by a specialist barrister, which ultimately dismissed the complaint. He underscored his commitment to focusing on the upcoming season. Many in the F1 community interpreted the leak as an attempt to exert additional pressure on Horner or undermine him following the investigation's favorable outcome. Rival team bosses, during the FIA press conference, advocated for more transparency in light of Red Bull's limited statement on Wednesday. Red Bull had stated that the investigation report, containing private information, would remain confidential out of respect for all parties involved. F1 and the FIA refrained from commenting, and it remains uncertain if Ford, Red Bull's engine partner for 2026, has been satisfied with the resolution. Red Bull GmbH, not addressing the leak directly, is likely to investigate further to determine the source of the shared materials, given the emphasis on confidentiality during the initial investigation. The complainant's potential appeal or pursuit of legal channels remains unknown, which could reopen the original process or initiate a new one. The leaked documents, distributed anonymously 24 hours after Horner's clearance, prompted Horner to reiterate his denial of the allegations. The widespread distribution of the dossier suggested a concerted effort to discredit Horner, raising questions about underlying power dynamics within Red Bull. While the investigation stemmed from a complaint by a female employee, the public exposure hinted at potential power plays. Speculation of disagreements between Red Bull's Thai majority owners and the Austrian energy drinks company has circulated, albeit not publicly acknowledged. The anonymous emails, strategically disseminated during F1 activities, aimed to tarnish Horner's reputation. Other F1 teams urged greater transparency from Formula One management and the FIA, emphasizing the need for a thorough and transparent resolution of the matter. Toto Wolff and McLaren CEO Zak Brown called for the governing bodies to ensure full transparency for the sake of the sport, its fans, and all participants in Formula One. Horner, who denied the allegations throughout the process, remained in his dual roles of team principal and chief executive during the investigation and arrived in Bahrain on Wednesday evening ahead of Saturday's season opening race. Giving his first interview after the announcement, Horner on Thursday morning told Sky Sports News that he was pleased that the process is over, and that the team was focused on the season ahead. Speaking in a team principal's press conference later on Thursday, Mercedes boss Wolff said, "Well, I just read the statement, which was pretty basic, I would say. My personal opinion is we can't really look behind the curtain. At the end of the day, there is a lady in an organization that has spoken to HR and said there is an issue. It was investigated and yesterday the sport has received a message, it's all fine. We've looked at it, and I believe that with the aspirations as a global sport, on such critical topics, it needs more transparency and I wonder what the sport's position is. We are competitors, we are a team and we can have our own personal opinions or not, but it's more like a general reaction or action that we as a sport need to assess what is right in that situation and what is wrong." McLaren chief executive Brown had joined Wolff during last week's pre-season testing in calling for transparency and urgency with the investigation, and this time said that more information was required for the sport to be able to draw a line under the situation. "I read this statement. I think from what I've seen there continues to be a lot of rumors and speculation, questions," Brown said. "I think the sanctioning body has a responsibility and authority to our sport, to our officials. I think all of us in Formula One are ambassadors for the sport on and off the track, like you see in other sports, and so I think they need to make sure that things have been fully transparent with them. And I don't know what those conversations are and that needs to be thorough, fully transparent, and that they come to the same conclusion that has been given by Red Bull, and that they've agreed with the outcome. But I think until then, there will continue to be speculation because there are a lot of unanswered questions about the whole process. So I think that's what's needed by those that run the sport to really be able to draw a line under it. Until then, I think there will continue to be some level of speculation by people, and I don't think that's healthy for the sport. Thursday's comments from Wolff and Brown came before material purporting to be the alleged evidence in the investigation was leaked to numerous media organizations and F1 team principals from an anonymous email account, after which Horner released a statement reiterating his denial of the allegations. Red Bull GmbH's statement on Wednesday said that it was confident the external investigation, carried out by a specialist barrister, had been fair, rigorous and impartial. The Austrian company added, "The investigation report is confidential and contains the private information of the parties and third parties who assisted in the investigation, and therefore we will not be commenting further out of respect for all concerned." Formula One released a statement on February 18 urging Red Bull to clarify the situation at the earliest possible opportunity, while the sport's governing body, the FIA, a day later said that it would not comment until the investigation was concluded. Both organizations had not seen the report as of Thursday morning, and have yet to comment since Red Bull GmbH's announcement. When asked about the balance of demanding more information versus respecting the privacy of those involved, Wolff added, "We're being asked questions as competitors here, and are we talking as competitors? Are we talking with the right moral approach, with the values based on the speculations that are out there? But I just simply think that as a sport we cannot afford to leave things in the vague and in the opaque on critical topics like this, because this is going to catch us out. Because we are in a super transparent world, eventually, things are going to happen, and I think we have the duty, or the organization has the duty to say, we've looked at it and it's okay, and then we can move on. I think it's sometimes very short-sighted to try to suppress it. I'm not saying this has happened. We're standing from the outside and looking at it, but just as a given statements or press releases or timelines, it just seems that it's not as modern as things go in this world, in the real world out there. But maybe in Formula One, we just have a little bubble and we think that's okay." Brown, meanwhile, reiterated that responsibility for deciding on what needs to be shared by Red Bull GmbH lies with the sports bosses. "I think it's the responsibility ultimately of the organizers of Formula One, the owners of Formula One, to make sure that all the racing teams and the personnel and the drivers and everyone involved in the sport are operating in a manner in which we all live by, so I don't think it's the team's roles and responsibilities," Brown said. "I think that's up to FIA and Formula One to ultimately decide and ask what they feel gives them the level of transparency that they need to ultimately come to their conclusion, and we just have to count on them that they fulfill that obligation to all of us." In conclusion, Christian Horner's return to the F1 spotlight amidst the email leak controversy adds a layer of intrigue to the ongoing F1 narrative. Stay tuned for the latest updates, reactions, and expert insights as we navigate through the twists and turns of this unfolding saga. If you're as captivated by the unfolding story as we are, don't forget to subscribe and comment down below for more exclusive F1 content. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, see you on the next video.